there is a question that very few people ever dare to ask themselves with radical, searching honesty. Think about this carefully. Every year, at the stroke of midnight, millions of people set new goals. They make them clear. They make them specific. They make them detailed. They write them in journals. They paste them onto vision boards. And they repeat them like a magic mantra. And yet, after 90 days, the vast majority of those people have returned exactly to where they started. They are not weak. They do not lack willpower. They are simply using the wrong tool for the job. What I have found after decades of studying the laws of spirit is a truth that may feel uncomfortable at first. Goals do not transform you. Systems do. The great law of the universe teaches us that real change, the kind of change that actually stays, does not occur when you decide to reach a destination. It occurs, when you decide to become a different type of person. A goal is a point in the future. But your life is happening now. If you are trying to reach a goal without changing the self that seeks it, you are trying to build a golden palace on a foundation of sand. You might reach it for a moment, but it cannot last. Emmet Fox taught that the only way to permanent success is through systems of consciousness. A system is not a to-do list. It is not a calendar. A system is a way of living that is perfectly aligned with the divine power that already exists within you. When you build your life upon systems, you stop depending on human effort. You stop trying so hard. Instead, you begin to flow with the infinite intelligence that God has deposited in your soul. Imagine a lighthouse standing on a rocky shore in the middle of a pitch black night. A goal is like trying to aim a ship at a target in that darkness. You can have the best maps in the world. You can have the most specific coordinates. But if there is no light, your efforts are useless. You will eventually hit the rocks. The spiritual system is the light. When you turn on that interior light through a daily practice of alignment, the target, your health, your prosperity, your peace, becomes visible as a natural consequence. You don't have to find it. It is simply there. Consider the mind as a garden. Many people spend their lives frantically planting seeds. These seeds are their goals. I want a better job. I want more money. I want a happy home. But their mind, is like a garden without a fence. The soil is hard. The weeds of negative, habitual thinking are everywhere. Every time they plant a goal seed, it is immediately choked by the weeds of doubt, or eaten by the birds of fear. The system is the fence. The system is the daily turning of the soil. Without the system, the seed never has a chance to germinate in the earth of your consciousness. I remember a woman named Consuelo in the beautiful hills of Oaxaca. For 7 long years, she spent her nights writing goals in notebooks. She wanted more money. She wanted better health. She wanted peace. And for 7 years, every December, she felt like a failure. She had the goals, but she didn't have the power. One night, she found a book. She realized her mistake. She threw away her lists of goals, and she did something different. She built a system. She didn't write a single goal for the new year. Instead, she committed to a daily system of scientific prayer every morning and a metaphysical treatment every week. In less than 6 months, the very things she had been chasing for 7 years began to find her. She didn't have to hunt them down. They arrived because her consciousness had become a magnet. All for the good of God. Now that we understand that goals are merely seeds and that the system is the soil, we must ask ourselves the most important question of all: what makes a spiritual system different from a simple human routine? Most people live by routines. A routine is mechanical. It is performed by the body. You brush your teeth, you drink your coffee, you check your messages. These are things you do with your muscles and your habits. But a spiritual system is alive. A routine is executed with the brain. But a system is built with consciousness. It is fed up by active, living faith. Emmet Fox taught that any system that actually transforms a human life must have 3 inseparable components. If you leave one out, the bridge to the divine is incomplete. The first component is the morning alignment, or, as we call it in the Golden Key, scientific prayer. Most people wake up and immediately begin to worry. They think of their debts. They think of their difficult boss. They think of their physical pains. By doing this, they are tuning their mental radio to the station of carentia, to the station of lack. Scientific prayer is not a petition. It is not begging a distant God for a favor. Scientific prayer is a declaration of truth. It is the act of waking up and, before you touch your phone, before you speak to another soul, you sit in the silence for 5 minutes. In that silence, you do not ask. You acknowledge. You acknowledge that God is the only power and the only presence in your life. You state clearly and calmly, Divine Mind, there is my source. Every good thing I need already exists in God, and it flows to me now in perfect, abundant ways. This is the maintenance of the soul. It is sintonizando, or tuning the instrument, so that for the rest of the day, the music of your life is in harmony with the infinite. The second component of the system is the weekly deep clean, the metaphysical treatment. If the morning prayer is the daily maintenance, the treatment is the structural reinforcement. Think of a house. You sweep the floors every day. That is your morning prayer. But once a week, you must check the foundation. You must clear the heavy blockages that have settled in the basement of your subconscious. Emmet Fox taught 5 specific steps for this treatment, and they must be followed with the precision of a master scientist. First, a recognition. You recognize that God is the ONL power, not the economy, not your DNA, not your past, only God. Second, unification. You do not say, I am trying to get close to God. You say, I am one with God right now. Third, realization. You hold the mental image of your desire, not as something coming soon, but as something that is already a fact in the spiritual realm. Fourth, the gratitude. You give thanks for the miracle before you see it with your eyes. This is the highest form of faith. And fifth, release. You let go. You stop clutching the result with your human hands. You put it in the hands of the Father, and you rest in total confidence. The third component, dar, is the nightly consolidation. There is a secret about the human mind that most people ignore. The last 5 minutes, before you drift into sleep, are the most powerful 5 minutes of your entire 24-hour cycle. Whatever you hold in your mind in that twilight state, Tao is what you are giving to your subconscious to work on all night long. If you go to sleep thinking about your problems, you are literally ordering your mind to create more problems while you sleep. The system requires that you use those 5 minutes for contemplation dirigita. You relax your body, you close your eyes, and you whisper a single truth. Over and over, God is love, God is my life, God is my abundance. You allow that truth to soak into the fabric of your soul, until it becomes your very identity. Why do so many fail even when they know these techniques? It is because of discontinuity. Imagine trying to start a fire by rubbing 2 sticks together. If you rub them for 30 seconds, and then stop for a minute, and then rub them again, and then stop, you will never see a spark. You can rub those sticks for 50 years that way, and you will never have a fire. But if you apply that heat continuously, without stopping, without making excuses, you eventually reach the punto de ignition, the ignition point. At that point, the fire sustains itself. A spiritual system only works if it is uninterrupted. It is the daily, consistent pressure of truth upon the mind that breaks the old patterns of poverty and sickness. One man I knew, Aurelio, and prayed occasionally for years. Nothing changed. But when he adopted this system, 15 minutes every morning, no exceptions, no excuses, his life transformed in 40 days. Not because the prayer was different, but because the consistency finally created the fire. A system, so ankla, anchors you in the present. Goals live in the future, and God is not in the future. God is only in the now dabu. Practice the system today. Practice it this hour. The harvest will come, because the law of God cannot fail.